So one of the things that I wanted to kind of go over tonight is how to access change and how to access your true self. Okay, so, you know, a lot of the time when we come up with ideas or we come up with callings, the first thing that happens is we feel good about it, right? We have that like feeling right here. And then instantaneously after we get kind of that calling, a lot of the time for us, we go right to here, right? And we go right to the how. How am I gonna get it done, right? How am I gonna mess this up? How am I gonna figure this out? And we go right to the how entirely too early. And I don't think we actually ever need the how. I think when you're obsessed, not obsessed, but when you're overcome and focused with the why, the how takes care of itself. Okay? So if you're really focused on your why, the how will take care of itself. I'll give you a very close example for me is when I asked Laura to marry me. So for some of you guys who not know, I'm engaged. Spoiler alert. I've been engaged for almost a year now. Don't ask me when the date is. Okay, so I was talking to someone. That's it. I was done. I'm out of here. No worries, man. That's all right. It's like, oh, it's gonna be one of those stories. So I'm in here with a personal training client, and we're talking about relationships and something like that. And I was feeling good that day. And when I get in these kind of modes, like I love to run with it a little bit, right? And like I love to create, and I love to be in the moment when I'm in that place. So we were talking about things, and they said, so when are you and Laura ever gonna get married? Because we had been dating for close to 3 years at that point. We lived together for over a year. And I said, you know, I would go get married right now, like go down to the courthouse and go get married, but you know, it's just not our time yet. And this client goes, well, have you asked her to marry you? I'm like, no, but she knows I would. I'm like, she's like, but did you ask her to marry you? Or did you ask her to marry you? I go, well, no. You know, and instantaneously that went to a place of like, uh-oh. Not like I should do this, but like, wait a second, I'm tapping into something here, right? So I was like, okay, so that's something. So that's something that my heart wants, but my head says no. So in that moment, I said, I'm gonna ask her to marry me. So what I did was, instead of going from here and trying to figure out the reasons why or why not I should do it, or how to do it, I said, I'm gonna take a step and I'm gonna say, and I said, to that personal training client, I said, I'm gonna ask her to marry me when I go home. So she's like, oh really? Do you have a ring or something like that? I'm like, no, I'm just writing this. This is all I'm thinking about right now. I'm like, and everything else will figure itself out. So I get on my scooter and I start driving home, and I don't have very far to go, so I don't have a lot of time here. Meanwhile, I'm about to get on a plane to go out to Salt Lake for nationals, so I'm like, well, I gotta do this, and I gotta kind of be here when I do it, because that's important to me. I wanna not do this because someone told me to do it, or because I should do it, or because I owe it to somebody. It's because I'm in the moment and I wanna like live in the moment right here. So it's like, first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to Walgreens and get a card. Bang, I go to Walgreens, I get a card. Okay, what am I gonna write down on the card? What card am I gonna get? I'm like, don't worry about the card. When you go there and you look, it will be there and it will show to you. And I got these 2 Labrador puppies like kissing next to each other, very mushy. So I get the card and I bring it outside and have a pen, and I'm like, okay, what am I gonna write? I'm like, just start writing. So I said, Laura, you know, I love you, you know, I care about you, and I'm gonna love you forever, you know, and instead of love, I put lava, because we watched a movie together, I think it was Inside Out or something like that, and like the little before scene is these 2 volcanoes. And it's lava you, the volcanoes, right? So that was our little thing. So, you know, I love you and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Will you marry me? And I put that on the card, I sealed it up, and I brought it home. So I sit down and I'm like, Laura, I have a card for you. I want to give this to you before we leave. And she sits down and she opens it and she starts reading it, and she's got tears in her eyes, and I'm hysterically crying. But like, and I know the reason why now, and obviously I knew it then as well, because when you tap into like your true self, like you unlock such an amazing, it's hard to put into words. Like that's why there's art, right? That's why art exists. That's why paintings are there. That's why sculptures are there, because we're so limited in our ability to explain what these feelings are. You have to put it into writing, you know, paintings, sculptures, and that kind of like encompasses what that is about. So I'm sitting there bawling, and she says, absolutely, of course, I love you, I'll marry you. And we're both like, you know, hug, and we, you know, embrace, and we're both crying. And even there, we go, what do we do from here? And I'm like, I don't know, we'll figure it out. Like we'll go one step at a time, you know? And I use this example to show you guys that when you're in flow and when you access this part of you, the why will drive you to the how. Transformational Thursday for today. Thank you for sticking around.